Put my molasses in at this point. If you put the molasses in with the sugar, it kind of gets clumpy. If you put it in with the liquid stuff, it doesn't get as clumpy. Hello, howdy, and welcome back to my kitchen. I'm Catherine, the Aerogarden homesteader. So, today, I need to make cookies. I also need to make softened butter, or spreadable butter. And it's always a good thing to do it at the same time, because then I can take advantage of messing up the mixer once and getting lots of things done. So, I'm going to get my beating ones on. I'm going to drop a whole bunch of pieces at the same time. Let's get that back on there. Okay, I'm going to get my softened butter in. So I did actually, this came straight from the fridge and I put it in the microwave. So hopefully I got it softened without melted. And if this works, the trick I did, which maybe it isn't a trick, I don't know. I put it in for 9 seconds and then I turned it. So I did that 4 times. It seems pretty soft. I don't feel like I have hard spots, but you know, sometimes when you put butter in the microwave, it's like it melts it from the inside, and then it's still hard on the outside, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But I'm going to get these in, I'm going to get them all softened up, and I'm going to get my oil in. Then I can move on to cookies. I'm going to make a oatmeal cookie and a double chocolate cookie. Probably be a chocolate mint cookie because my kids love mint. So, let's get this going first. Now, I've done this before in another video. This is just something we do on a semi-regular basis because we go through a lot of butter. Okay, I will mute this part because it's going to be noisy. Okay, well, for the record, I do feel like that trick in the microwave worked. So, you gotta soften butter. You don't want to melt it. Just do 9 and then keep turning the sticks in the same direction each time. Okay, I will squeegee all this down and make sure I get all of the butter whipped up and softened. Otherwise, you get hard spots. Okay, I am going to add some oil. So you can use any kind of oil you want or have. Choice is up to you. It is a 1/4 cup of oil per stick of butter, although I've heard some people using more, some people using less. Kind of depends on what consistency you want. So I will stream this in as it's going, and then squeegee as needed. Don't quite get that center part. Okay, I gotta put one more 1/2 cup in. Okay, I'm gonna get this all scraped down. That looks pretty good. Get my other 1/2 cup of oil and start streaming that in. Okay, it is looking pretty good. Comes together pretty quickly. It's just a matter of making sure you squeegee everything down at the beginning really well so you don't end up with hard butter lumps. Give that another quick mix, and then I will get that in the jars. Okay. Quick change of everything. Okay, I guess we will have one odd jar out. Now, since I will be making cookies right after this, it doesn't matter how clean I get everything, just as long as I can save most of it. Because the rest of it will just go in the cookies. Yes, this is messy, by the way, so just be prepared to get greasy. Okay, so as you can see, pours pretty easily, but when it goes in the fridge, it will firm up and be a lot less pourable. But it will be spreadable. That is the whole point. Okay, I'm going to make the oatmeal cookies first, no rhyme or reason. This is why I will probably never make falafels. This is the biggest food processor I've got. So until I can get a bigger one, it hasn't been worth it for me to try yet. I really want to try though. Okay, in here I have a half cup of raisins and a third cup of water. It's actually really warm water because it helps soak the raisins a little faster. This is a great cookie recipe if you have raisins that have been sitting in the back of your pantry for a little too long. So I'm going to let those sit for a little bit while I measure out the shortening. So it calls for a half cup of shortening. I already have a little bit of residual butter left all over my mixer. So I'm going to clean the handle on this just a smidgy bit. Okay, well, hopefully that's not going to go rolling around in my hands too badly. Okay, get a half cup of shortening. It can actually be probably a scant cup because of all the extra butter. Okay. Okay, before I get going too much further, I'm going to blend this up into a smooth paste. Okay, switch the plugs back. Okay, I'm going to get my sugar in next. So it calls for 1.5 cups of dark brown sugar. I don't have dark brown sugar. I don't have brown sugar, period. This is a 1/4 cup measuring cup. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna get this in a little mix first, and then I'm gonna put my egg in. It doesn't really come together. It's just gonna make a sandy mess. Get that cracked in. And now the raisins. And I'll tell you, whether you like raisins or not in your oatmeal cookies, or any cookie for that matter, or any baked good, you can't tell this has raisins in it. Because, I don't know why, but I really do not like cookies with raisins in it. Craisins are fine for some strange reason. Raisins? Nope. Which is funny because I really like raisin pie. Okay, so get that in there, and keep that handy. Butter everywhere. Okay, and I'm going to add in molasses, and this will make my sugar into dark brown sugar. Probably want a good tablespoon for the dark sugar. I could probably have gone more, actually. Okay, get that mixed up. And then I'm going to put in a 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. There you go. A teaspoon of salt. Baking soda. 2 teaspoons. I will actually measure this. It does call for cinnamon, but because we're just probably going to throw in some mint chocolate chips or something weird, it'll clash with the cinnamon, so I will just skip the cinnamon. Calls for 1.25 cups of oats. These are old-fashioned oats. It calls for old-fashioned oats. It actually specifically says not to substitute. Okay, so I think I'm going to switch over to my other beaters, so I don't break these ones. Okay, get that back in there. Okay, now I can add the flour without breaking anything. And I gotta clean up. Okay, it calls for 2 cups of flour. Okay, there we go. Just bring that together and add some whatever mix-ins we want. It'll probably, like I said, be mint chocolate chips because my kids that's what they're into. This is for their school lunches, so it needs just 1/2 cup. Go. And that is literally it. So, for these, I will probably bake a couple off so that they can, have them as a snack today. And I will also make another batch of cookies since I have this out and it's already a mess and I have most of the ingredients out. So I will show you what these look like when they come out of the oven. They actually require 275 for 18 to 20 minutes. It's supposed to be a long, slow bake. But, you know, I do them at 350 for like 14-15 minutes, depending if they come from the freezer or not. And, yeah, they get a little darker, but they taste fine. So, you do what you like. I normally ball these up and put them, so I put them on a cookie sheet and I flash freeze them, or individually freeze them, and then I put them in a bag so that I could just pull them out later. And that is that. So that's what it looks like, in case you haven't been able to see from your angle, but I will get this all balled up on a cookie sheet and I will move on to the next one, which will be mint chocolate chip cookies. Okay, on to the, I don't know if I'd call them double chocolate, but they're a double chocolate chip cookie. So I need 1 cup of shortening. Get that going. You can use any kind you like. You know, I used to use butter flavored Crisco, but it was, I guess it was full of trans fat, and then they had to change their formula, and it never really worked after that. It's kind of interesting. So, mixer is still dirty, because most of the ingredients are the same. Who cares if a few oats are randomly in the mixer. Now, my favorite chocolate chip cookie, because you know what, everyone's got a different opinion. My favorite perfect chocolate chip cookie is fresh from the oven. It is ooey gooey on the inside, and it's all puffy. So it's got a little bit of a crisp on the edge, but it is a puffy, gooey cookie. So I actually underbake my cookies. This is not, if this does not sound like your ideal cookie, don't make these. You're not going to like them. Alternatively, if you do like the thinner, crisper cookies, you could make these, but just flatten them. So that would get you your crispy cookie. These are kind of like those levain style cookies that everyone always raves about. We've been making these for years. So if you just make them like oversized cookies, put them in the freezer and bake them big balls from frozen, you're probably going to get the same thing, honestly. I was watching people trying to recreate levain cookies, and I'm like, well, that's my cookie recipe. They're just using butter instead of shortening, so you know what? Whatever. I have a ton of shortening in the house, so it just needs to get used. I need 1.5 cups of sugar. Okay, 1 cup of white sugar, 1/2 cup of brown sugar. Again, I don't have brown sugar, so we're just going to put all of the white sugar in and then add some molasses later. So this is a 1/4 cup measuring cup. This is going to take me a little while. What I need to do is just go out to the dollar store and buy another cheap set of measuring cups so I can have some in my sugar. Okay, I'm going to mix this up real quick, cream it all together. Okay, that's done creaming. I'm actually going to put the other cookies in the oven. Okay, next ingredient, eggs, 1 at a time. I'll put 2 of them in. Oops, there goes the thumb. I like to mix between my eggs. It's just something I do. Okay, vanilla, 1.5 teaspoons. That's good enough. Put my molasses in at this point. If you put the molasses in with the sugar, it kind of gets clumpy. If you put it in with the liquid stuff, it doesn't get as clumpy. Or just use brown sugar, whatever. Okay, salt, because even sweet things need salt. I'll probably put in about 1 teaspoon. Calls for 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Give that a quick mix. Okay. To make them chocolatey, instead of adding 2 1/4 cups of flour, I'm going to add 2 cups of flour and 1/4 cup of cocoa. So if you don't want these to be chocolate chip cookies, just put flour in. And then I just need 2 cups of flour. Give that a quick mix. Okay, now that I've made it a mess, getting flour and cocoa everywhere, we can add in, so it says add up to 2 cups of chocolate chips. So I'm going to add in whatever I have of this. And I'll probably add in some regular. One way to kill that package. That's probably good enough. Give that a mix. Okay, let's see how we are doing. Still have butter everywhere. That's just lovely. Got flour everywhere. There we go. Mint chocolate chip cookies. Double chocolate. I don't know, what would you call these? Let me know below what you would call these. Double mint chocolate chip cookies? Chocolate mint chocolate chip cookies? Tasty cookies? That's what my kids call them. They call them the chocolate ones. Okay, let's get this all portioned out and frozen. This is my Bosch mixer, in case you were wondering. I did have somebody ask in the comments. I have killed a KitchenAid. I bought one, I used it, I killed it, I took it back because it didn't work, and I have never bought one since. So, I know it works for some people. I don't know why it didn't work for me. Maybe I got a bad one. But that was the first and last time I ever used one. So, alright, let's get these portioned out. Okay, I just wanted to show you, it is the next day. These are frozen up pretty good. The oatmeal ones do tend to be a little stickier and softer than the chocolate chip cookie ones. Not sure why. I don't know if it's got more liquid in it or something, but yeah. So I just freeze them individually, as you can see. I kind of flatten them down a little bit so that they're partially flattened before they start cooking, because otherwise sometimes it's like it. Well, that's how the Levain style cookies are done. Is it's just this big blob that never really melts in the middle and cooks, so that's why it's so gooey inside. But I like to flatten them down a little bit and give them sort of a running start. I do give them, so whatever time it normally says in the recipe, I give them an extra minute when I cook from frozen. Some of it just depends on how you like your cookie, honestly. So that is that. I just put them in bags. I put them in the freezer. The kids can just grab them, put them on a cookie sheet, and I can get them put in the oven. These make great morning of quick cooks for lunches. I'll put a picture up of how the cookies turned out. They didn't last very long. I managed to get a picture and that was about it, but they are soft. The oatmeal ones, you can cook them at a lower temperature for longer so that they don't get quite as crispy, or you can cook them at a higher temperature for less time and get them nice and crispy. Just depends on how you like them. I will have recipes down below, so make sure you check those out. I hope you found this video useful. I hope you enjoyed following along with me. Thank you for joining me today, and I will see you next time on the Aerogarden Homestead.